Well, all we got getting out here just a little bit late today. It's overcast. Got a few things going on that I wanted to share with you. So we're going to take a walkabout, see what all is going on. We're still getting ready for fall. Got a few things planted, a few more started, and we'll share those with you here in a minute. So what we got here is we came out here Saturday, and I didn't bring the camera along, and we started putting in some more seeds into our small pots. Here again, we're just using what we have on hand. We're not buying anything. And the amazing thing here, this is Tuesday, September the 4th, and as you can see, a lot of them are already starting to sprout. And what we have here in the fiber pots, right hand side first, is some golden acre cabbage. We got some kale, and then we got some Swiss chard there coming up. We have some spinach. I can't remember what was in the fifth one there. Here we've got some pepper plants started. They haven't come up. And over here we've got some Brussels sprouts planted. They haven't come up either. Beefsteak tomatoes, we went ahead and took them out of the smaller plastic pots, put them into some 3-inch, and we're going to try to get them in the garden area this week. I'll just take you around for a quick walk around, and we're going to be starting to expand the fall garden. Still got these 2 red ripper peas, don't have a clue what to do with. Now on this Goliath tomato, which hasn't done much this year because it's been in the shade, still looking rather healthy, even though it's a little bit slim on foliage. It now has its first tomato ripening. Now it's still only got 2 tomatoes on it, but since the temperatures are starting to back way off at night, it's starting to set some more blooms. So hopefully we'll get a few more. It's now 6 feet. Hasn't done much as far as producing. And we got the honey rock cantaloupe here. Hasn't done a whole lot. Got hit with the powdery mildew, and we treated that with the hydrogen peroxide. And we have to thank Gary Pillarcheck from the Rustic Garden channel for his work on that mix. And that's 12 tablespoons per gallon of water, and it will kill the powdery mildew. Now the yellow leaves there, once the powdery mildew has affected them, they're going to be what they're going to be. Now the celebrity here has also been treated. It had some Spatoria leaf spot, and we sprayed it with the hydrogen peroxide. That killed it off. And we did the preventative spray with baking soda, and it is nice and green. That's another nice young tomato up there, putting on a lot of blooms. Over here is our Cherokee purple. It's now about 7 feet tall. Very nice green, loaded up with many tomatoes. But the interesting thing is down here, got our first Cherokee purple starting to ripen, and the second one there coming right behind it. This plant is looking fantastic. And then along the front of it, we put in 3 dark green zucchinis, all of which are looking good. And we come over here to another honey rock cantaloupe, which also got hit with the powdery mildew and was sprayed with the hydrogen peroxide. Got 2 nice looking cantaloupes here for me. I haven't checked on in there to see if there's any more. Henderson limas, a couple of spare seed we had that we put in are starting to set blooms. Now the Goliath here, which hadn't fruited all through the heat, is starting to form several tomatoes up in there. Got another small one up in there if you notice. Many more blooms. And this particular tomato is approaching 8 feet. Now unfortunately, our Purpless Beauty cucumbers got hit hard several times with powdery mildew. And we did spray them with the hydrogen peroxide and that killed it. But the damage to the leaves has been rather extensive. We've pruned a lot of them off in hopes that it'll recover. I'm really not sure if it will or not. Looking pretty ragged right now, but there are several cucumbers up in here, so we're continuing to let it grow, see how it'll do. And we've got a nice one here. We've got one right here, it's approaching 12 inches. And there's 2 more. Another one there, looking sort of scraggly. Got a real nice one here. And there are several new young cucumbers coming up. In fact, there's one right there. Another one right there. Oh, and we missed this one. So we're going to let it continue to grow. As long as it's producing. It can stay here. Really don't have any plans for putting in anything else. Now this banana pepper, which has fought everything from slugs to mildew. Got several peppers starting to come up in there. Got another one right there, and of course a little bit behind on tying this one up. I'm going to have to get tied up. We got the possibility of a hurricane forming in the Gulf of Mexico. And like many things here, we're going to have to get prepared for it. Now right now, it's a tropical depression. And it may not track up our way. Right now it's projected to track to the southwest, but you just never know. And I'm not going to take a chance, so there's a lot of things I got to get tied up, staked up. This honey rock is taking a real beating. With the powdery mildew, hail, it's seen about everything. But it is starting to set some cantaloupe. I did find one yesterday, but can't rightly remember just exactly where it was. We'll see if we can find it over here. Yeah, there it is. It does look like it didn't pollinate. Nope, it died. And sometimes that happens. Maybe there'll be more. I'll take you up here and take a look at these rattlesnake pole beans. We got a couple pounds of beans off them here. Oh, about 3 or 4 days back. They're still looking rather good. A lot of new growth still coming out. Oh yeah, got some more beans on in there. More up there. They're on in there. Small ones there. So we may actually have to pick some of these today. fact, they got quite a few beans on them. And a lot of new, younger ones starting. Yeah, we're gonna have to get the ladder again. I may have to invest in a 6-foot ladder. But the point being, these have been through about everything imaginable too. Oh, there's some nice ones right up in there. But they continue on. The okra here is just starting to put out some pods. And this is the Clemson spineless okra that I planted on both sides. Haven't got any pods off it yet. We're looking forward to it. We do love fried okra. I know, it's a southern thing. So let's head on down here to the compost pile and where we're starting a new fall garden. Garlic chives, like I've said before, they're in full bloom now. They're doing amazing. I will be harvesting this seed, and my thought is making another herb bed and then replanting the seed. Henderson limas doing nicely. They are full of blooms. We've just got these garlic chives everywhere. And here's another clump starting to bloom. And over here in the old compost pile, these Henderson limas we planted on this side of it, they're blooming. Rattlesnake pole beans we had extra here, starting to put out a lot of new growth. Got new beans forming on them. We just picked everything off of these 3 or 4 days ago. That's coming off that tropical depression in the Gulf. It'll get worse before it gets better. Now over here on our bush beans provider, you're going to be seeing some beans in here as well. All looking nice. We'll go over here to the beginnings of the fall garden where we put in our mammoth sunflowers against the fence. You can see now they're approaching 3 feet. Looking very healthy. Corn coming up beside them. Pink banana starting to run. That's a good thing. You can see the corn popping up throughout. There's the corn popping up through the acorn squash, and it's starting to run. Now what I did yesterday, I came out right before we had a short shower, and I went ahead and planted the pole beans around the sunflowers, around the squash. Here again, getting back to the old Native American method of 3 sisters planting. And like I said online, the way they tell you to go about it is you put all 3 of it in the ground at the same time. Well, I'm here to tell you, you do it that way, and that's some pretty poor results. Now my timing here was a little bit off too. I Should have put the corn in first. Let it get up to about 4 to 6 inches. Then I should have went ahead and set in the transplants for the squash. And then, like I say, let your corn here get up to now where it's starting to approach a foot, and come back and put in the beans. If you do it that way, you'll have a lot of success, and we'll keep an eye on this if everything survives this weather we got coming in. Now here are those 4 sweet potatoes I put in. And if you remember, I didn't put these in necessarily to get potatoes. I put them in to let the vines grow. I want to train them over, cover up some ground I'm clearing, and they'll help smother out the weeds. So we're gonna walk on over here and see how we're doing on the south timber fence, where we've got some Walton butternut and some of our sweet baby watermelons growing. Now, I don't know if I've mentioned it. These are what's supposedly a bush variety of a sweet baby watermelon. You can see right there, there's a small one starting to form. We have another one here. Over here, a real nice one stuck up in there. Here's another small one. But they're doing really nice. Excuse me. Now, what I have noticed about these this summer, it's extremely hot right now. It's around 1 p.m. The sun's blazing right down on me. Is they've been extremely drought tolerant. That's something to bear in mind. Now, as you can see here with the Walton butternut, it took some heavy damage from the powdery mildew before I got it under control. We got a couple of nice looking butternut squash forming there. Another one there. As well as right here. The plant's surviving. And hopefully these will ripen on up. This has all been sprayed with the hydrogen peroxide to stop the mildew. And then we came back with a baking soda spray as a preventative. So it's still hanging on. So we'll walk up to the south side garden bed beside the driveway. See how things are doing there, because this bed's seen some problems here of late. Here on the very corner of the front bed, you can see it's starting to become covered in squash vines. These are a Walton butternut. And then right here, you've got a yellow crookneck squash that has traveled all along this length of this bed to right in here. And it's produced squash along its entire length. The celebrity plant, which is looking real good up here up top, got some new tomatoes. Lots of blooms are showing up. It too suffered from blight. Then it got a Spatoria leaf spot. I sprayed it with the hydrogen peroxide solution, and that killed both the blight and the Spatoria leaf spot. Patios, they're real beat up from Spatoria leaf spot. But they got a ripe tomato on them. Something here. It's September. They're still setting fruit. Still putting on new growth. Now this patio, it's had the Spatoria leaf spot, powdery mildew, and there is tomato hornworm somewhere. I can't find them. I was out here last night trying to find them. You can see that leaf right there is almost ate off. But we got several more tomatoes ripening. It too has some new growth. Now these are a determinate variety, and what's supposed to happen is once the tomatoes set, start to ripening, they're over. But as you can see, these are continuing to grow. The okra over here, the Clemson spineless. Ooh, I gotta pick some of that today. It's getting rather large. May have let that go too far. This plant's looking amazing. Yellow crookneck squash was hit really hard with the powdery mildew. We've had to trim out a lot of affected leaves. It's still in there. Still heading on across the driveway. Still got young squash forming, so we're going to let it go. This plant's been in there producing since first week of June. Cucumbers here. They're starting to look tattered. But later this afternoon we'll be harvesting some cucumbers off of them again. And for the first week of September, I can't complain. Our green fingers okra is really starting to produce now. We got 2 pods there, another 2 there, well 3, actually 3 there. 2 more over here. We'll be picking some of these tonight. And I'll probably be frying up some okra tonight. Some I already have in the crisper drawer. So that's where our plantings are right now. I'm going to take you around to what we did yesterday. So the went up here beside the driveway. We had a small old bed where we planted a couple of goji berry transplants. You can see them in there. And what we did is we planted out the rest of the fallow ground. And you'll notice the rows are marked with small pieces of bamboo. Now along the timber fence there is going to be Ford hook Swiss chard. And then these two rows right here are going to be noble giant spinach. And then you come down here to these three small rows. That's black seeded Simpson lettuce. And then we've got 3 rows of ruby leaf lettuce. And then this whole corner was planted in your cherry bell radishes. Just something to fill out the ground in that. Rather than just leaving it all here vacant. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go up to where we got the fall garden started. We're going to be putting in some early glow corn. So with these storms coming in, hopefully we'll get some rain. Nothing else. That way they'll all get watered in well. Well, that's about all for now. Hope you enjoyed it. Sure, I'm glad you could pull up a chair, sit with us a while, visit old Deep South Bama here. Hopefully we'll come through the storm that's coming without a problem. But we'll do what we got to. Get the old garden in shape. Get everything tied up that's needed. Put things up. And we'll wait it out like we always do during the hurricane season, see which way it goes. Just never know. Until next time, folks, y'all take care. Stay safe out there. God bless you and yours. Bye.